your child something that is important to them but not important to you. Now, I want to tell everyone a story. Let's say you have twins. For the purposes of this, they're child one and child two. And one day you find them crying and they're arguing at each other. You rush up to them and you ask, "What's going on?" And they're fighting over an orange. Now, one solution would be to simply split the orange in half, give half and half to each child, right? That would make them happy. It's equal, no one's getting more than the other, everything's fine. But see, if you found out their goal and why they want, each child wants the orange. Maybe child one says, "Well, I want the orange peel so I can make a cake for you, mom." The other child says, "I want the fruit so I could just eat it. I'm hungry for oranges." That opens up a whole new solution. If you found out their goals and you decide to trade these issues with each other, you peel off the orange peel, give it to child one, you give the fruit to the other child. Simply finding the goal and trading the issues of what one child wants more than the other, it can really solve a lot of problems.
So I know I've talked a lot already. I just want to add on because I have a big mouth. In terms of goals and trading, the reason why your child wants something is so important. Because like Nathan said in his story, right? Child one wanted the orange peel to make zest and make a cake. Child two just wanted the flesh to eat. If the parent never asked why, then it'll just be child one wants the orange, child two wants the orange. There will be no breakthroughs for solutions. But since the mother or father asked that, then you could start trading. Trading is just giving something that you value less, but the other side values more. Since in that scenario that Nathan just told, you're essentially a mediator, you're giving child one something that he or she values more, which is the orange peel, in return for them giving away what they value less, which is the orange flesh for child two to eat. So if you want to direct this in direct conversations with your child, let's say you want your son or daughter to take an upcoming exam. You think the exam is very, very important, but you need their consent in order to take it. You can't just sign off a sheet of paper and they are forced to take the exam. They have to consent to it. So you're like, how about this? Hey, Alex, I know you really, really value our summer vacations. And for the past few years, you've really wanted to go somewhere or pick somewhere so we can travel there and spend a week. How about this? If you take this exam, I will let you choose our summer vacation spot. And you're fine with it as long as the place where you have summer vacation is not as important to you. Now, if it is, you want to find something else. There's so many things, so you always want to ask your child why they want something. And on the topic of why, never ask them. This is just a rule of thumb. I didn't write this down there. Never ask your child, why did you do this? Right? If you ask them that, they're going to get really, really defensive. You can change that to a what question? What made you do that? Or you can use a label. It seems like you had a reason for doing that. You seem to have a reason for doing that, right? So don't ask why. Find their goals, find why they want something, though, even though you're not using the actual word, and trade items that are more important to them. Now I'm talking too much and we need to speed things up. So, Kyle, let's crank up the speed of this.
Now, we're gonna talk about the second part of this presentation that it's about Generation Z. As Margaret Mead likes to say, children must be taught how to think and not what to think. So children, they should run free. They should be able to express themselves. Just they should be taught the ways and how to do things, and not force them to think in a certain way and think about something specific. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is cultural barriers. Because of cultural barriers, we have this very important topic that is globalization. And the age of globalization and the internet has widened the generation gaps. And because of internet globalization and this amount of information we all are exposed to, society has changed a lot, especially in the past 20 years. And the generation that was most affected was Generation Z, and especially Generation Z. They tend to resort to the internet and technology to do pretty much anything. They want to uh, know about a topic, or they want to do research on how they're feeling instead of going to the doctor. They're actually going to go to the internet. So all of this uh, ends up actually shaping the mind, since they're so exposed to all of this information. Their minds are also exposed to a lot of point of views, and then they decide whichever feels the best idea for them. And because of this, um, that create a huge gap between the generations. So children now, they're as good on the technology as professionals are at work, because Generation Z, they grew up around technology, and they're introduced to technology so early, and they're required to use it, right? Since we're so involved in technology, they developed an ability, an ease to understand and use technology. And they're able to, for example, they're able to problem solve anything. Like, as a parent, like for example, my parents, they often ask me, hey, can you do this for me? I'm using my laptop, I'm having this problem, can you fix it for me? Can you fix my iPad? I don't know how to do this. So Generation Z usually better at solving something, and even figure out how to use a new app or a new technology in just a few minutes to seconds. And yeah, and they're also able to use it in a very efficient way, using shortcuts, techniques, organizations methods that they developed by themselves. Now, Generation Z trends, they change incredibly fast due to the modern concept of space. What I mean is, what is trending today will not be trending tomorrow. Information and the news, they spread very fast in a incredible speed, and scenarios change very quickly. Uh, the world, the world nowadays is in constant change, and people move on from subjects too quickly. And information exchange and communications, they became closer because of the internet. Now we can text someone on the other side of the world, we can message, we can video call them, and they're gonna get that response, that communication is going to go through instantly, just because of the internet. And because of how fast paced things happen, Generation Z constantly feel like their lives are moving too slow when they try to slow down, and that can cause impatience. Now, how do we deal with this? Well, um, do not try to stay on trend with your child. So they will not, if you try to stay on trend with your child, they will not want to talk to you. So especially when a parent is trying to fit in, to seem cool, and that's usually considered cringe, and that makes their child feel embarrassed, right, about their parents, especially if that happens in front of other people from Generation Z, next to their friends. They're going to feel very embarrassed. So for example, when taking your child to school, your child might ask you to drop them off one block before getting there, so that they avoid that embarrassment. But then you ask me, but I don't want my child to